So now we're at the part of this sourcing plan where people are learning about the job, awareness of the opportunity is growing, and people are starting to be interested. So they may decide to apply. And so that's sort of the last part of this kind of sourcing plan is how do you facilitate applications?
Yeah, I didn't use an applicant tracking system for years. And some roles we would get upwards of 500 people applying through like the
Mhm.
job at, company.com website, which was, I mean, when I learned about an applicant tracking system, I was like, of course people have invented something to help with this. Because what happened is like they just kept coming in, and then you need to like pull the resume and cover letter into a Dropbox folder or something so everyone can see them. And then if people don't label their files, Tim Sonova resume, then and it's just resume, I'm not sure whose resume this is. And then candidate care really suffered
Mhm.
because you want to let people know when their application materials have been received. So it's not like shouting into a void, like, did it make it? Did it not? And you want to let people know if and when they're making it to the next step in the process, or if you're going in a different direction. And applicant tracking systems like Breezy and Jazz and Bamboo are really helpful things for that, and to coordinate rankings and ratings from multiple people. Because oftentimes it's like, here's a bunch of resumes and everyone sort of goes off and does their own thing. And then you have to coordinate that in some way. So it's an Excel sheet or it's in a meeting. And it's so much faster sort of as an asynchronous opportunity to say, all right, Katrina, you go in whenever you have a chance to review these 50. I'll go in between now and Friday to do it. And then we can see, all right, so here's the top group, the next group, and whatnot. And then sort of move them through that process. Things like we've used Breezy HR, which offers a free option for like one search with X number of people on a hiring committee. I've used Jazz HR for more like concurrent searches when we have 3 searches and we have bigger committees that are involved. So it's really just playing around with applicant tracking systems, and it's often worth the learning a new system because that will be made up
Mhm.
in all the connection and coordination. And I often think about, we're running this marketing campaign to find someone, and you get to hire usually one person. What happens to all the other fans of your company who you don't hire? How might this be an opportunity to make a deeper connection and understanding and relationship with all these fans that oftentimes, if you just get overwhelmed in email, it's like you just cut people loose or you ghost them or whatever it might be. So really thinking through that candidate care as an opportunity to grow and deepen the relationships and your organizational brand. From what saying brand is like very corporate, but like just deepening that,
Mhm.
what it means to be in your organization and the values that it holds.
The other thing that an applicant tracking system lets you do is actually keep an eye on who's applying for multiple positions, because it might be that, and I have stories like this where you sort of see the same names coming up, and it just sort of prompts you to say like, oh, if we haven't had a chance to meet that person for one of these searches yet, maybe somebody on our team should have a conversation with this person to just kind of see what interests them, how we might be able to support, understanding more about what they can bring. And so when the match shows up, then that person is already in the loop, or we know that's already a lead that we have. And so that's another benefit. But I would say that also the other thing is that way, if you're somebody that's doing search for multiple organizations, you get to know those people, and you also get to build relationship with those people. And so that candidate care allows you to be able to draw on that relationship later if something that is maybe more up their alley comes up in another search. And so you're actually you're actually using that system to help you sort of build that network of potential applicants for other roles as well.
I think the piece at this stage that ties directly to the funnel is I often think like what's the hurdle for people to express interest in a role? Is it cover letter and resume, cover letter, resume and references, or is it express interest in any way that you want? And here are the different places you can submit. Maybe it's uploading a video and really thinking about from a KSA standpoint and an interest and anchor standpoint, how much information do we need from candidates at a certain point, and how can we learn more about that over time? So asking for a writing sample up front, maybe you need one if they're going to be doing writing for your organization. That's a key part of the role, but you also, maybe you don't. Maybe you ask for that after people get after the first round or the second round. So it's just easier for people to interact with the application process, and you're not excluding otherwise amazing candidates who maybe just don't have the time to put into something that they don't know if it's going to happen or not. So you're excluding groups of really talented candidates, and where you put the hurdles to get into the process to be considered.
Yeah, that's so huge. It's that investment of energy, effort at the stage that you're in. So the applicants, they likely assume you've got a bigger pool of candidates. And so if you have a laundry list of things that they need to include as part of their application, that's that exclusion that Tim is talking about. It automatically says, well, there's too much stuff to pull together. I can't do it. I'm sure they're going to get lots of great candidates who can do this. And so I'm going to pull myself out of that. And so if you have sort of a very small requirement, which is like, you could email us and tell us you're interested. You could send us your resume. You could make a video. Any of those pieces allows whatever the energy that person can give at this level at this stage in the search allows them to be considered. And then, the screening, you might ask them something else at that stage, or as you move through the interviews, you may actually have, insights to say, there's actually going to be some prep involved. We're actually going to need you to invest a little bit more time, but here's ways we can handle that. And we'll get into that in the interview stage. But really thinking about what is absolutely necessary for you to be able to have a screening call, or be able to kind of understand the dots that can be connected between that person's experience and the opportunities that you're looking for.